Good morning, everybody. This video is for Tuesday, October 27th. What I will be doing is reviewing these slides 4 through 6 in the Of Mice and Men digital notebook and explaining to you what exactly I want you to do on these slides. So I'm going to come up to Google Classroom. We're going to come down here. Yesterday, you should have read Chapter 1 in Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck here, and today you'll be working in this digital notebook. This digital notebook is not going to be due until the very end of the Of Mice and Men unit, so this is something we'll be working on the entire time. Today, what I have you doing is, again, slides 4, 5, and 6. Those are the slides that all relate to Chapter 1. So you're going to skip slide 2, skip slide 3. We'll come back to those. So right now, we're focusing again 4, 5, and 6. So what I am going to do is just kind of briefly explain to you what I'm looking for. So this is slide 4. Basically here on the timeline portion, what I want you to do is just give me a bulleted list of everything that really takes place in Chapter 1. It doesn't have to be lengthy. I'm just looking for a couple bullet points. It doesn't have to be complete sentences, doesn't have to be anything like that. Just quick little bullets of this happened, this happened, this happened in Chapter 1, just to keep track of the things we are reading. Major conflict, which is here, it does not have to be major like it says. In some chapters, the conflicts will be quite major, and in others, like Chapter 1, the conflicts will seem much smaller. That being said, though, there is still going to be at least some sort of conflict in every chapter, whether it's man versus man, man versus self, etc. So I want you to just think back on the chapter and give me any type of conflict that you noticed while reading. Again, it can be quite small and insignificant, but as long as it is, some kind of conflict, that's fair game. So you can put that there under conflict. Under reflection, this is the box that I'm really least concerned about. If you find that you really have nothing to say for this, then you can just tell me that. I don't necessarily need you to reflect upon every single chapter, but what that box stands for is if you have thoughts to share with me, if you have predictions to make on what will happen next, if there are things that, are making you upset from the book or anything like that, you can tell me that in the reflection portion. Otherwise, you don't necessarily have to fill that one out. And then lastly on this slide is important quote and explanation. In each chapter, there is not going to be one particular quote that's more important than the rest. So there's not a right or wrong answer, so to speak, for this box. As long as you choose a quote and you explain to me why you chose it, that's the important part here, is the explanation. Choose any quote from Chapter 1, you'll type that quote here, and explain to me why you thought that quote was important. Did it reveal something about the characters? Did it give us some kind of foreshadowing to something that might happen later on? Did it fill us in on something that happened in the past? Anything like that. So choose any quote and explain to me why you think that that quote is important. Slide 5 are your chapter questions. There are 6 of them here, so these are just kind of reading comprehension questions, and you'll just use the story to answer them. So this one's pretty straightforward, similar to the night questions that you guys had for every chapter. That's what this slide will be, and you'll type your answers underneath. And then lastly, I want to talk to you about slide number 6. When you read the instructions, it'll say in a 1 to 2 paragraph response, and I want to clarify now that I am not looking for 1 to 2 paragraphs. Instead, I'm just looking for a couple complete sentences. So it's asking you to briefly summarize the events from chapter 1, compare and contrast the characters. So again, just a couple sentences telling me, what happened in chapter 1, and you're comparing and contrasting the characters, which are George and Lenny. How are they similar? How are they different? What is their relationship like? So that's what I'm looking for on slide 6, just a couple sentences. So don't let the word paragraph freak you out if that's something that intimidates you. Just a couple sentences. Once you have done that, again, this is not going to be turned in until the end of the book unit. So you can close out of this. It should save your work, and we'll come back to it after we read chapter 2 and move on to the next few slides. So that's all you have to do today. If you did not finish chapter 1 yesterday, then please make sure that you are finishing that first. I have attached a read aloud version for you on the previous slide under daily instructions or weekly instruction. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help, and that's all you are really focusing on today. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow.